It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plot Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Tradition Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal podcast, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting back in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFall. What's going on, Dan?
Hey, we're back.
We are back in the saddle.
Back in the cabin again.
Back in the cabin again.
And I tell you what, last week's episode, which you carried on an interview with Mr. Pete Shepley.
Did you like that?
Was that cool or what?
He is a cool guy. He's definitely
very much so.
Definitely a cool guy. And the wisdom and insight he's got into archery is just incredible.
Right, exactly. And he wants to keep promoting it.
You know, and along those lines of getting things rolling, you know what? Can you pop that audio down just a little bit there on that
I'm
that
picking
bar?
up a little bit.
I'm picking up just a little bit of hum. There we go. That's better. Yep. There we go. A little feedback.
Got our producer in the studio.
Right. So, but along those lines, we just want to jump right into it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Well, this weekend, actually, while you were gone playing up north in the woods.
Yes, I was.
I had an opportunity to help somebody get into archery. A guy I work with who has a girlfriend, and he wanted to get her involved she wanted to get involved in archery. She has some friends that hunt. She likes to go out hunting, and they've always used shotgun, rifle, whatever. But the movie, The Hunger Games,
Yes.
strangely enough, is what piqued her curiosity.
And I have heard that from several people that this movie, Hunger Games, and there was another movie, an animated one where the girl was in our Brave.
Okay.
Gets people interested.
Yeah, well, and he asked me, he's like, do you know what Hunger Games are? I'm like, yeah, I know what Hunger Games are. I've never watched it, but I understand what it is and kind of know the premise of it. And anyway, she's like, I'd really love to be able to shoot a bow. I'd really like to be able to take a deer with a bow. So, he asked me, would I be able to help, and could I kind of point him in the right direction? I was like, absolutely. So, along the lines with what Pete Shepley said last week on the show, I did my part, got somebody involved, took him down to Cabela's in Chesterfield, and thanks to Chris Snurr, who is their lead bow mechanic down there, so I call him the bow mechanic.
He is the bow mechanic.
He's the wrench.
He is the technician.
So, I had this gentleman and his girlfriend meet me down there yesterday, and we spent, roughly an hour or so there in the store. First thing is they walk in, and, he says, hey, I'm in the store, so I'm heading back to archery. So I kind of walk around the corner and see him, wave to him. They come over, I go, welcome to our toy store.
It is our toy store.
I said, this is our North Pole.
It is. It really is.
And I'm the outdoor Santa Claus.
Yeah, there we go.
So, Chris come back there and introduced himself and, started that whole process. I just kind of backed away and got her on a PSC Stinger X, and he set it up for her. And after a little, fiddling with the bow a little bit, and got it fit her, and she started shooting. Excellent. And the smile on her face was incredible. That's what the cool part was. So when you see that connection and you see that light go on, and it's like, okay, yes. Well, they understand it.
Her family is mainly rifle hunters, I think.
Well, I don't know if it's right. I know they gun hunt because
Okay.
she's from Ohio. We won't hold that against her.
No, we don't.
But I do believe that's all shotgun.
Right,
exclusively. So
they're mostly a gun family.
Right.
And she wants to do this bow thing because of the movie.
Right, yeah. So she said, I'd like to learn how to shoot, and I think there is a bow in her future.
Excellent. Always good to get a new person into the sport. And
maybe a Christmas gift. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah, it's always good. Excellent. Good to hear that. Was the store busy?
It was moderately busy.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I was just wondering, being middle of October.
Yeah. Took Buck Snort with me. My oldest daughter, Mackenzie, and Buck Snort went down with me.
Excellent.
So I took my grandson to Cabela's for the first time.
Hey, you gotta like that.
Got our picture with Fred Bear, this Fred Bear statue.
Excellent.
Kid you not, we walk in the store, put him in a shopping cart, and we wheel around. And you know how that big entryway is.
Yep.
And they've got deer on one side and bear on the other. First thing he looks up, and he does this, and he's looking around, and then he goes, bear, bear, bear. And starts
See?
pointing to the bears. And then turns and looks and deer, deer. You know, I mean,
He's learning.
we all brag on our kids out how smart they are and how intelligent they are and everything because everybody's kid's always their kids.
Absolutely.
But the kid's 13 months old and he already knows what deer and bear are. You know,
Hey.
of course, I might have a little to do with that, and I think his
Maybe.
mom does too. But
Well, when he shows up as the president of PETA, that's okay.
yeah, no, that ain't gonna happen
Yeah, oh.
unless it's people eating tasty animals.
There you go.
But you know, and ducks. That was the other thing. He can say duck.
Well, you got him doing a crow call.
He did the crow call last night here. Yeah, he was hammering the crow call.
See?
So, yeah, man, it's, you know, I didn't get up north, and we can talk a little about that later because I know you got a lot to talk about because you were up north, and
I was up north.
I haven't made it yet.
Did duck season open up yesterday?
Duck season, I do believe it opened that or it opened the weekend prior. I can't remember which.
I think it was duck season because there was a lot of shooting yesterday, I heard.
Yeah.
Down here, over in the Seven Lakes area.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I was just wondering it because I'm not a typical duck hunter, so I just...
And it's been ducky weather, too.
When I was driving home, I was fine till West Branch, and then it rained.
Yeah.
It never stopped raining.
Dude, it's rained, well, last weekend, it's blowing, raining here. Up north, a little bit. You know, I chose not to go because of that. Same thing this weekend. Blow, 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 rain, 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 rain. It did not rain up there yesterday morning. I did hear word from camp that it wasn't raining up there, but after the morning passed, it did nothing but start raining.
It was done.
Yeah, it was done.
It was done being nice because
So.
the rain moved in, and if you looked at any radar, it was just like,
Yep.
here it comes. So yesterday was a good afternoon and evening to watch college football.
Roll Tide.
Was it even a contest? Maybe for the kickoff?
Our first play from scrimmage was a 75-yard TD run, so.
Oh, see, it was the kickoff. It was close to kickoff, and after that, it was all over.
They scored one touchdown, so.
One touchdown.
But it was it was moderately busy yesterday down there at Cabela's. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't like nobody was in the store either. So
Right. No, it's just the fact that people are getting tuned up for gun season.
Right.
We're in the midst of bow season.
I can't believe it's already the second week of bow season.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, realistically, we've got a month. Today's the 15th. Today's the 15th of October as we sit here recording this show. A month from today is the opener of rifle season here in Michigan. Can you believe it's a month away?
Nope. Not at all.
The weather certainly doesn't indicate it either. You know, it's
And I
been
tell
in the
you what,
60s and 70s.
Driving up north, there was spots. There was a lot of green. Mm-hmm. There was a lot. It was weird. Some had lots of color. Some had lots of green. Some trees are still fully green.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Deciduous trees.
Yeah, and it was like odd, but...
See, our weather guy was saying that this weekend would probably be the last weekend of full color.
Ooh, I find that hard to believe.
You know, for the state of Michigan.
I find that hard to believe. I
like-
think this week, not this weekend, but maybe in the next week, it'll take...
Be the peak?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because up in the upper, we still got leaves on the tree, which typically we do. Mm-hmm. But it
Well,
just...
a lot of wind. We got a lot of wind here last weekend, this weekend. My trees are losing leaves here. But I still, like you said, I still see a lot of trees around.
Right,
you know?
exactly. So, you know...
What was the deer activity like up north? I mean, did you see them starting to kick in yet?
Oh, yeah. It's starting to warm up. The young bucks are getting a little
Frisky?
frisky.
Okay.
They're starting to feel their oats and starting to say, hey, look at me. Mm-hmm. And,
Seeing rubs, scrapes, anything like that?
well, no rubs, no scrapes. But that's not to say, and typically I don't really see that in October up there.
Okay.
I won't see that till probably November if there's anything bigger than a spike rubbing.
Okay.
It's weird there. It's not like some places down here where a friend I talked to today said he had a scrape in his backyard.
Okay.
So it's like, wow.
Yeah, you know, usually you kind of start to see that stuff when you get a good frost, them cold mornings.
Right.
You know, frost on the ground, the
did
bigger
it.
bucks start getting cranked
We
up.
did have a couple frosty mornings, which was nice. We had a couple days. It was balmy at best, hunting in your hoodie,
Okay.
which is not bad, really.
No, but man, there's something to be said about hunting when there's frost on the ground, or it's a cold morning and you're sitting in your tree stand, and right at the crack of daylight, and maybe that next half hour, you kind of get to chill just a little bit, and you got to move just a little bit to knock that chill off.
Yeah, that chill didn't come too quickly. It was like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty warm and it's going to be toasty today. And
see, I just can't get in. I can't get in full hunting mode until that happens.
But in the evening, though, with a clear sky and that sun going down,
Get cold?
temperatures were dropping. A couple nights they dropped pretty good.
Okay.
It was like a 50-50. A couple nights it dropped pretty good. A couple nights it went down maybe 10 degrees.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We're not quite to our first break yet. Why don't we go ahead and take our first break? We come back because I know you got a lot you want to talk about.
Oh, yes, I do.
And we do have somebody we need to talk to, and we're going to wait until we come back from the break to tell you who that is.
That's right.
So we're going to step outside, take our first break, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, second segment of the show. And for those of you on the live stream, you already can tell who is in studio. But for those on the podcast, you can't. Dan, who do we have?
You have my one and only. Well, I have two, but this is my only oldest daughter.
I was like, wait a minute. What happened to the other one? Your wife just texted and said she wants to talk to you when you get home.
This is Kelly. This is my oldest daughter.
Okay.
She went up for the week of bow hunting with us for the week. There was three of us. Actually, there was five of us up there hunting this week. 3 bow hunters and actually 2 grouse hunters who left early because they weren't getting no birds.
No birds.
No birds.
Why do you think that is?
That's a good question, and we were kind of discussing that, and we don't know if it's the turn down of the cycle in grouse. Mm-hmm. Because previously, every year, they've gotten a few birds every day, and by Thursday, it's grouse dinner.
Okay.
But they were seeing maybe 1, maybe 4, and they weren't getting them. And then the Wednesday when they left, they didn't get any birds. They didn't see any birds.
Okay.
So, but I told them, and this is a running joke because there's a bounty on this one, between our bridge and our cabin, there is a grouse that hangs out and torments us.
Okay.
So we put a bounty on his head.
And Bonnie didn't get paid, I take it.
No, he's been mocking us, though.
Okay, well, that's good.
And he's been mocking us now for a couple years.
Good.
So, and he was drumming at night, which was really cool. You're laying in bed, and all of a sudden you can hear him drumming.
It is cool to hear those birds drum.
Yep. What's it sound like?
It sounds when you drop a basketball and it gets closer to the ground. It just gets dum 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 dum.
I think it sounds like an old Ford N9 tractor starting to start up.
Right.
The first time I ever heard when I was a young kid, and my dad had me sitting in the woods, against a tree by myself, and he come back and he goes, "Well, did you see anything?" I'm like, "No," but I keep hearing this guy trying to start a tractor. He's like, "That's not a tractor."
And so he was. This partridge was around the cabin, and it's a running joke. It's pretty funny. But no, we were up there. We went up there for a week, and we had an excellent week.
Well, it looks like, according to the picture back here behind us.
Yeah, that's worth 45 minutes of hunting.
That's what 45 minutes of hunting looks like?
Yes.
First time out, 45 minutes.
First time out, 45 minutes.
Of the week, yep.
Bam, job done.
So we
back to camp, all said and done.
Well, not quite back to camp, but we left on Sunday. Sunday noon. No, 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock, yep.
We got up there. We got situated in the cabin. Got the fire going. Set up our plan for Monday to get up, eat breakfast, get our blinds set up. Because remember, we've logged the property now.
Right.
So we're kind of, it's all guesswork as to what's the new routes, what's the old routes. My cousin Brian stuck to his old tree stand there, which is still a good spot. Mm-hmm. Kelly and I picked out 2 new spots, courtesy of the crew going into the woods, creating some 2 tracks and openings and fields. The fields that I planted. Remember, I went up over Labor Day, and they grew. I actually had something green in them. I was quite happy.
That's good. Well, we talked about that previously before you went up.
Right, exactly. So I am ecstatic that I got something to grow. And then, so we set Kelly up off one of those fields. Set myself up off of one of those fields. Actually, I was more in the woods. As we did that, we pulled some trail cameras to get some ideas. We didn't have anything shooter-wise on camera.
So this deer, he wasn't on any of your cameras?
He might be on one camera that I got a picture of him walking away, and you can see kind of the side.
Okay.
And who knows? It could be him,
Right on.
But
He wasn't a regular.
Probably
not.
not.
On the camera. Right?
Not on the camera, no.
So.
And then, in those pictures, I did a little video, and if you've seen the little video,
yep,
it's what happens when you put a feeder in the tree and a bear wants to take it down.
Danny put a lollipop up for a bear.
Well, I think he was fine till the lollipop ran out. Then he got pretty cheesed off and ripped it out of the tree.
That, or he eat what little bit of offering came out of it, and he goes, I want more, and he's like, it came out of that, I'm going to go get it.
Because we were filtering through the pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I got a picture of my cousin, who was up there bear hunting.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, I see him come into the frame, and he picks something up.
Okay.
I'm like, what did he pick up? And then it hit me, because when we came into the cabin, there was a bottom part of a feeder.
Okay.
And I'm like, so I'm clicking through the pictures, and you can see in the tree is the feeder. Then in another picture is a bear. And then in another picture, the feeder's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
Put 2 and 2 together. I'm pretty sure Mr. Bear wasn't happy it ran out of food.
Did you find the feeder?
We found the top wire. We found the bottom part. And we still can't find the tube.
So he opened up the cookie jar and took the box of cookies with him.
He took it and ran.
Okay.
It's probably in his den with him.
Yeah.
Just gonna snap
They'll drag stuff off, down into the woods and, for a long ways.
Well, we did kind of like a 20, 30 yard circle around where the feeder was, and we did kind of a sweep through the woods back to the cabin, and we didn't find it. So
okay.
There's a couple other directions I can think of, but I wasn't about to go. Mm-hmm. I wasn't going to go toe-to-toe with a bear to say, hey, give me that back.
You didn't want to go rustling for it?
No.
Okay.
Which I am surprised we did not see no bears.
You didn't see any while you're out in the field hunting? Okay.
Surprised. But anyways, Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock, hey, let's do some hunting. Good idea. So we kind of it wasn't that cold.
It was not cold. I was in a hoodie.
Yeah.
So.
And my cousin Brian dropped us off on the road. He took the Ranger and went off to his spot, and she went off to her spot. I went off to my spot, and 45 minutes later, I get this text. So
it was not expected, to be honest.
No, I don't think so. And here it is live. Let's go back to there. Let me see if I can find it here real quick.
Your dad's real well prepared here, I see.
Well, okay. Okay, so a huge blank 6-point was in, and I shot and I missed. I think I got its freaking leg. I'm shaking so bad. I don't see my arrow. I really think this guy's leg. He ran towards you. No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
Okay, so that's the text you got.
Yeah.
That's 45 minutes basically after you get in stand.
Right, exactly. Okay. So I said, all right.
Well, back up just a little bit here. When y'all went out, I mean, all the pictures I've ever seen, you guys hunt together. Mm-hmm. You're in a ground blind together usually, or what have you. Mm-hmm. Is this the first time you've hunted by yourself with nobody else around?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I went out there by myself, and I'm like, it was really weird because, like you said, I'm usually with my dad and everything, so I had like the whole ground blind to myself, and it was very roomy. So I was kind of just getting settled in, and
now when you guys got ready to go out hunting that afternoon, had you had it in your mind? Hey, I'm going by myself.
Yeah,
that was the plan.
Yeah,
I even asked her. I said, "Do you want me to stay with you or no?" She said, "No."
What changed? What changed this time compared to the other times to make you want to do that?
I don't know. I think I guess in a way, like the time was right kind of thing. Like I just wanted to go out there and I wanted to just kind of enjoy the woods by myself and everything and just see what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
So
you see what everybody else does and it's like, hey, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
See what they experience.
Yep. So.
Okay. Now, how long have you been hunting? How many years now?
let's see, had around, 10 or 11? Ever since you could, like, officially
You got a doe when you were 12?
12 or 13.
Okay.
Right.
So that was her
age
first
was.
year.
Okay.
So.
And then she took a couple years off for college.
Funny how that works.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is actually the first year she can go because she's not working
Okay.
and getting vacation and doing her thing. So she came up and I asked her, "Do you want to hunt alone?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, I'm good with that." That's.
Well, how did you feel about that? In the back of your head, I mean, it's like, okay, was it one of them father moments? Like, okay, I've taught her everything she needs to know, and you kind of watch her walk off in the woods by herself, or did you go to the stand with her?
No, we parted at the road, and she walked up the trail to her spot. I walked across the road to my spot, and then it was like game on. It's like she's on her own now.
Right.
You know, she went off to college. She did that on her own. So just natural progression of hunting. You're on your own. So she was on her own.
Did you get a tear in your eye when you parted ways?
No, not then.
Not then.
No.
Okay.
I tell you the truth. I was like, all right, let's go sit down, and it's warm. It's going to be because I don't know what to expect because it's newly logged, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well.
So you're just trying to take it all in.
I'm just trying to take it all in.
Right.
You know, figure out, okay, I'm going to be sitting in this new spot. You know, we're looking for this. We got something on camera.
So really no expectations, just going in with a clean slate.
Nothing. There was no expectations whatsoever.
And all you had was a couple trail cam photos. And,
Right.
and really nothing on that really got your curiosity up.
And I was hunting a parcel that he wasn't on. So
Okay.
my thought was, okay, if he's moving, I might catch him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually going to, I kind of started thinking about that. I said, I'm going to leave him alone probably till November.
Mm-hmm.
Then go try to get in his back door. But anyways, parted ways, go sit down, a little warm, get that text. And she was mad at herself. And I'm like, okay, so I'll come over. Can't find her arrow. She saw the deer run off, tail up, just booking. And I'm like, okay. So I get over there.
Okay, well, let's stop right there. Okay, you get over there, but let's back up. Okay, so now Dad parts ways. You're at the trail. I want to take this all in.
Okay.
I want to hear this whole story. So Dad parts ways.
Yes.
When we know what happened with him. When you walked away from him, were you looking over your shoulder like, there goes Dad, what am I going to do? Or you're like, good, he's out of here, now I get to hunt by myself.
I was just going up the trail, and to be honest, one of the things that always goes through my mind when we're walking in the woods is I remember him telling me I had to be like 6 years old or something, that when you're walking in the woods, like heel to toe, try to when you're avoiding leaves so they can't really hear you. And that's really all that was going through my head.
So you hear Dad in your head playing
Yes.
all these things, you know.
Yes, exactly. So
I remember that.
yeah.
Except I remember my dad yelling at me. Don't do that.
And it's really hard now because it's all changed. It's all logged.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, see, like the true track I had, they had put down trees for the road. So
Okay.
try to be quiet over that, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So her trail actually was one of the bulldozer trails that led up to the field, and she was just off the side of that.
Nice and clean trail to walk through.
It
Pretty
was
muddy.
It was
Okay.
it was muddy. Imagine that. It was
Yeah.
muddy.
So, but I was walking up there, just kind of stopped once I saw the blind, see if anything would take off. Slowly got in my blind and got settled in. It wasn't anything.
There was nothing there when you.
There was nothing there. Nope, there was nothing there. It looked, because we had put the bait out a few hours before, and it didn't look like it was, touched that much. So,
All
other
right.
than that,
So you get all hunkered down. You get in, you get sit down.
yep.
Get your bow ready, kind of get everything spread out, take it all in. Mm-hmm. Not much time passes.
Not much time passed. I had 2 does come in from my right, and they were, I think, it had to be mom and daughter and everything, so they were eating. And then I'm like looking up and they're eating away. I'm like, all right, well.
Can't shoot them. They're does.
Can't shoot them. And, last year that's all we saw was does. So in my head, I'm like, all right, I feel like I know what to expect. Mm-hmm. Well, I was proven wrong. Not 5 minutes later, it was from my left-hand side, like a stampede. It was 5 or 6 does. They came running in, and they were charging. And then I saw them. I'm like, oh, they must have gotten scared by something. And all of a sudden, here he comes from the left-hand side. He's got his head down. He is huffing. He is chasing after him. And I'm just like, I could not believe my eyes.
So you could hear him like grunting or breathing heavy? Okay.
Oh, yeah. He was breathing heavy. He was... And I'm like... Heart starts pumping.
Buck fever.
Now, remember, she's got a deer tag, so she can shoot anything.
Okay.
A spike or bigger. So,
right.
And I told her, shoot it. If it's a spike, shoot it. I don't care. Get your first buck out of the way, and we'll deal
with it after that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right on.
So once he came into my field of vision, and I'm like, I saw horns. And I'm like, all right, okay, I can deal with this. And so I started counting, and once I got to 6, I'm like, I had to say to myself in my head, I'm like, I can shoot that. I can really shoot that. That's something I can shoot.
Right.
So I got ready, shaking like no other. But remembering from my first time that I got my first deer and everything, and like kind of breathe slowly and just kind of try to calm down. And actually, he was farther away from the bait pile than I wanted him to. And he wasn't moving, he wasn't coming in, and I didn't want to lose that chance. So he was probably 20, 25 yards away when I took the shot, and I was sighted in for 20. So
okay, so you get a single pin?
Yeah, her premium shot with her bow is 15 yards.
Okay.
When she moves out to 20, she's got to adjust a little bit more. And so 25 is probably her Hail Mary shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're sighted in. You've got a fixed pin. It's not a float or anything like that. So you're making an adjustment on the fly, estimating that distance.
And we just switched her back to that from a multi-pin sight.
Okay. Why'd you switch?
I didn't like the multi-pin.
Too many things going on at one time?
It was that, and, you know, I couldn't remember, was the bottom pin 10, or was I sighted in for 15? And for me, it was once if I know one, I can better adjust from there.
Okay.
And also, I think with her poundage that she's shooting at this time, just one pin is good. Because...
You don't want to step out.
They were stacking, and it's like, so just a couple weeks back, we just said, okay, we're going to go back to your old site, go shoot it, and that's what she did. So, 45 minutes into the hunt.
Okay, I tell you what, let's take our next break, come back. She hasn't shot the deer yet.
No, she hasn't.
So, when we come back, we're going to talk about the shot and what happened afterwards. So, we're going to step outside, we'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets, or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back, third segment of the show. We're getting ready to launch an arrow. Somebody's shaking in a blind.
Shaking like Don Knotts, as we all like to say.
There's a deer in front of me, and I can shoot
Not
it.
just one deer. There's a whole bunch of deer.
There's a whole bunch.
So you got all these eyes watching you.
Yes.
Are they looking at you?
At that time when I was getting ready to release, to be honest, I feel like I can't even remember.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah. I just saw him, and I think there might have been a doe far off to his left.
Okay. So you size him up.
Yep.
Broadside?
Yes.
Looking left, looking right? Which way?
Looking at me, so he would be looking left.
He's looking left. Okay, so he's looking this way.
Yep.
And you throw the pin on him.
Yeah.
And you made an adjustment.
Oh, I made an adjustment.
What happened?
To be honest, I thought I majorly messed up in a way. When I released, from what I remember, which in that moment was not correct, but I thought I shot him right below the shoulder blade, but like above like his elbow.
Okay.
So I thought I got him in the leg.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once I released and it hit and he took off, I was just like, I was mad. I was so mad. I was like, really? Like, the one thing I don't want to do is just put an animal to, like, suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not fair to them.
Right,
So,
right. That's why we practice.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I thought I messed up, and that's when I had texted Dad. And so he
Expletive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
You know, she texted me, and that's exactly how I envisioned her hitting it. I'm like, okay.
Okay. Because that's what you were told.
Yep. I'm like, okay, I know where she hit it. I said, okay.
Okay, so you get the text. What's going through your mind?
I'm like, oh, boy, this is going to be good. I'm like, really? And then she said, in the text, she goes, I'm going to stand up. I said, no, sit down. Let me get over there.
Yeah, don't move.
Yeah, let me get over there.
Let everything settle down.
Right. So,
Let that adrenaline dump finish.
Yep. And so I pack up,
Right.
which I just finished unpacking. Okay, go back, cross the road.
Mm-hmm.
And
How far away from you? From her?
Probably 200 yards. If you go 100 yards to the road, 100 yards. Yeah, probably 200 yards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
How long did it take you to get over there? 5 minutes?
yeah, 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
By the time I packed up, zipped up the blind,
Seemed like forever.
waved at the deer, and
Mm-hmm.
said, hey guys, see you later. I walked up there and I come around the corner to her blind because I got her behind a tree kind of, and there's these big eyes looking at me from the blind, and she's like,
You're hunting out a pop-up blind, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yep. So I said, okay. And she was just bug-eyed and said, all right, what happened?
She's still shaking?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I said, all right, let's run through this play and see how it is. And she said, okay, it was standing over here, and she says it ran over there, it ran across the tree that's down, it's got all the moss on it. I said, okay.
So you got a visual marker?
I got a visual marker as to where it went.
Okay.
I said, okay, let's start looking for arrow, blood,
Something. Right.
And I said, okay, so when the deer ran off, what was it doing? She said it was running, it was bounding, tail up, it was out of here. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, if you hit it in the leg, it would run tail up. It's not going to be hurt much.
Not tail down.
She said it wasn't, like, she didn't break the leg or anything like that.
He was
Right.
still bouncing so much. It wasn't like he was
Right.
limping or anything.
Right. So I'm like, okay. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she hit it in the leg. So let's find the arrow and get some confirmation as to what's going to be here.
What's going on?
If I pick up a blood trail, what's going on? And we look for an arrow. Mm-hmm. We look for blood. Nothing. We're looking. And we look for 45 minutes.
Probably, yeah, 45 minutes, if not closer to an hour.
And so we kind of both, and she kind of came up with it and said, let's start from the beginning again.
Okay.
And I said, okay. So we went back to the spot where he was standing. And I said, okay, so did he run this way? Did he take off straight and turn around? Did he back out? You know, She says he just jumped away. Well, she saw about 15 feet behind where he was standing on a little stump and some leaves, some blood.
Okay.
She goes, here's some blood. I said, oh, all right.
Okay, you got a starting point.
Right. I said, okay. And so I looked at the blood, and there was short white hair in it. And I'm like, that ain't a leg shot.
Right.
That's low. Mm-hmm. Like a leg, but I don't think it's the leg. I'm like, okay. So we okay, here's some blood. Let's look for more. And then we picked up another spot. And then we picked up another spot.
So you're getting a blood trail now.
And we're starting to pick up a blood trail. And then you went back to the blind. Because I said, did he go this way? Which way did he go? And so I found more blood and found more blood. And she went, and all of a sudden, I'm not even close to the tree with the moss on it. I'm further back on this blood trail. I go, he didn't go that way. He went this way. And I could kind of see a visual of a
tunnel or a path.
Yeah, I'm like,
you're going to take the path least resistance.
and he's heading straight for the neighbor's property.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. So we're picking up blood, and we're starting to pick up blood, and it's not just like a speck. It's like where he's starting to pump out blood. And I'm like, this ain't no leg shot.
Right.
And I told her, I said, this ain't a leg shot. Something's not, this ain't.
Right, it's not adding up.
I'm picking up blood too quickly. It didn't have time, run down the leg, and it's not by the footprint.
Right.
It's I'm like, well, you shot it to the left, so it'd be coming out the left side. And I'm like, man, there's just blood everywhere.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I got to text my cousin Brian, get him over here, because there's just way too much blood. I said, hey, you there? He goes, hey, what's up? I said, yeah, you better come on over, because Kelly shot a 6-point. So a few minutes later, here comes the ranger. Goes, what's up? I said, well, we got a blood trail. He goes, okay.
Mind you, at this point, once he's over there, we had I don't know, maybe about 50 yards into the woods. We had, because I had the layers of clothes on, and I had a white shirt, so I put it on a tree to mark it, because we went back to the blind and just kind of like packed up, just because we didn't know what we were going to find.
Right.
So we had, the backpack with the knives in it, and so we were just preparing ourselves as much as possible at this point, because we didn't know what to expect.
Plus, it was getting pretty warm.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, I'm ripping off my hoodie and getting down to my base layers, and so he showed up, and then the deer was heading straight for the berries, the thick berries, and I said, I know where he's going, but the blood was pretty regular. I'm like, something's not. This ain't a leg. So me and Brian started leapfrogging, tracking. That's how we always. I'll pick a spot. Yep. Okay, we looked, and we had her now with us. So somebody would find blood, and then we'd look, walk around to the side, look, find, and we just started going and going. Then we hit the neighbor's property border. Okay. Well, lo and behold, the blood is up high on the leaves. I'm like, well, kind of good, and it's kind of pumping out. I can see where there's big things of blood. So we kept going and doing our little thing, and we never have found the arrow. And we're just leapfrogging, and my cousin Brian goes, there's a stump. He goes, no, wait, look. And I looked, and I turned, because she's now at the last spot of blood. And I looked, I said, well, go get your deer. He piled up.
The feeling that I had was just so much relief, because I didn't hurt him, and it was humane, I guess you could say, and it was so much excitement. I was like, I started crying. I was so excited that I did it. It was my first buck, the biggest buck of the season up there for us throughout that whole week and everything. So
bigger than I've ever shot with a bow.
So then, yeah.
How bad did Dad cry?
Oh, he was bawling. We got up to the deer and everything, and first of all, I'm like, can I touch it? He's like, you can do whatever you want.
Ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, he ain't going
and
nowhere.
He's crying, so.
That was my biggest thing, because not knowing where we hit this thing, I was looking, as we found blood, I kept looking up, because I'm waiting for this thing to, if it takes off, I said, we're done.
Right.
Because I've had that happen.
Right.
And it wasn't moving. And it's like,
no.
So then she started crying, and I was just watching her, and then my cousin behind me, and I looked at him, and I just lost it. It just...
There's something, I don't know what if it's in us, in our DNA or whatever, but when we pass something on to our kids, they latch onto it, and they take off, and they do something successful. It brings that emotion out. I mean, because it's like, it's an accomplishment for you passing something on for their enjoyment.
And I'm already tearing up. And I think with her, especially this year, how much she practiced, she put in. Mm-hmm. There was nights we did the show here, and I knew she was back at home practicing. Mm-hmm. So it was just, she put in the time. She put in the changing her sight. We went and had her bow tweaked by Chris.
Right.
We made sure she was shooting the best she could. We had her tuned in to shooting the best that she could shoot. And then she went out and practiced, and this is what she did.
Did it mean more to you for the sheer fact that you split that trail and she went by herself, and it's like, it's like going off to college, or, whatever it is in life that your kids go off and they attack by themselves and they achieve success. I mean, did you play that through your mind at all? That she was by herself and she accomplished this by herself?
Basically, yeah, it was all she did, all on her own, and we did what we do. Mm-hmm. When there's a blood trail, we got all together and we did it together to find it. Mm-hmm. And it just, you're not going to say, hey, you're on your own.
Right.
So it was one of those things that it was just, it was that accomplishment of what I seen her do it this year, and it was laying there.
Mm-hmm. There's the end result.
Yep.
All the hard work pays off.
And my youngest, Erica, texts after I text the picture, and Mom sees it, and Erica wants to know when we're having jerky. Right. So we had an empty freezer.
Yes.
So it was like, all right, I can make jerky.
Right.
But no, that was the culmination, and the bawling part on myself was just, she did it. And the sheer fact that she did it, she was on her own.
Yeah.
The practice, it was just, and if my dad could have been there, it would have been special. But having my cousin there with me, because we've basically been hunting together for
ever since I've known you.
Right. And it worked out. It was perfect. Just that moment in time, it all worked out. We're sitting here in the middle of the woods in raspberries, and here's a dead deer, and okay, there could be a bear, it could be wolves, it could be coyotes, but that's okay. We don't care about that.
We're all celebrating and crying and
Right.
hugging and having a good time.
Right, and it just that moment in time was perfect, and that's the result laying there. And it looks like she put it right in the base of the neck. Mm-hmm. She was off to the left, which she got the vein, and it just bled out.
Well, it is just like what we were talking. The deer was facing sideways, and you look at where the entry wound is. That deer, when she released, it had to have turned the body towards her. Mm-hmm. So I mean, those things happen.
Oh,
deer don't stand there and go, hey, right here, shoot me. Right here's my spot. Shoot me.
I won't move.
Yeah, those things happen. I mean, I've pulled a trigger on with a rifle on a deer. Oh, and it wheel and turn. I've still killed it, but it didn't hit where I intended it to.
Friend of mine shooting out of a tree stand at a doe with its head down, aimed for the back. As soon as he released it, backed up and hit it right in the base of the head and hit the vein.
Yeah,
that blood trail was about
2 feet,
2 feet, and full of blood for 30 yards.
Yeah.
Almost made it. I think it did make it to the road to the ditch.
Yeah,
but hers it went about 100 yards.
Yeah,
and so it was probably about 6:30.
It was getting dark.
It was getting dark
really fast.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is
okay. Now you got to pack it up. You got to go and get it out of there.
So my cousin Brian is looking. He's got that light bulb going, and he takes off.
Bye.
I'm like, okay.
Where are you going?
He went to go get the ranger.
Okay.
And he was gonna. We were on the neighbor's property now, and this neighbor had it logged. So there's logging trails. So he went and got the ranger, brought it down the road, and brought it in, and then could drive almost right to the deer. Mm-hmm. Now we got to gut it.
Did you gut it in the field or did you take it back to camp?
I gutted it right there.
In the field.
It was like, you know what? I'm going to do this right here, right now. Mm-hmm. First thing I said to her, though.
She didn't gut it?
That ain't a giggle if I did.
No, I did not gut it.
First thing I had her do.
You're a nice dad, that's all I got to say.
The first thing I had her do, I said, okay, tag this thing right now.
Absolutely, yep.
I said, before we even start anything, let's tag it. She got out her tag. I said, mark those, tag it properly. Mm-hmm. Put the tag on it, and said, okay, now we can have fun.
Yep. Now you take your pictures and all that kind of stuff.
So we then proceeded to gut it. She held the flashlight. She held a leg for me.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty proud of myself because I'm not good around kind of like the blood and the guts and kind of like that stuff. So just being able to watch everything and assist in what I could, because I've never gutted a deer before. I didn't really feel like messing that up with a knife. So just being able to watch and just kind of take it all in.
And I did pretty good, actually. I was pretty proud of myself considering I was doing it again by flashlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Never fails. Most of them I do are by flashlight.
I know, isn't it? It's like,
it's the way it goes.
So then, and I'm trying to tell her as I go what I'm doing, because she's actually there to watch it this time instead of halfway across the 40 going, bye. So, and it was, I said that smell is not, it's the heat of but it's the body. It's not a stench.
Yep.
So I was actually doing pretty good, and I think that was helping me through it. Because usually I'm like, ugh. I did rip open the stomach.
Mm-hmm. You did?
But that was because I grabbed and pulled, but
did you get that nice whiff?
Oh yeah, that was good.
You didn't throw up?
No,
that's good. That's good.
Just gag. That's all right.
Yeah.
And then I took all the bottom out, and then I went to the back, took care of that, except for the rear end. Mm-hmm. Then I said, okay, now we gotta go up front, and my cousin Brian's like, watch out for the broadhead.
Yep.
I said, yep.
You didn't know because you didn't find the arrow.
Nope.
You don't know if it's broke off inside the deer or if it kicked it out while it was running.
Exactly. So I'm reaching up there, and I found the hole with my finger. I'm like,
okay.
I don't feel nothing metal up here. So then, of course, you're trying to get your two hands in there to get that windpipe.
Yep.
And I pulled out the heart and lungs, and I'm looking at it going, they're intact. I looked at the heart, and I rolled it over. Nothing. I'm like, well, she hit a vein and
bled out.
Artery and bled out.
So, yeah, like basically a brisket shot.
Yep. And then we gutted it, dragged it to the ranger, threw it in the back, and took off. It was still getting dark. Mm-hmm. And
it was very dark at that point.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. It was fun.
So, did you sleep better that night?
Oh, yeah. slept better that night, and I did not go to any morning hunts that whole week.
She hunted Feather Ridge.
Yes, she did.
Yep.
Every morning.
There on the pillow. Yep.
Every morning. And mind you, this is our first hunt.
Right. 45 minutes into camp.
Yeah.
Or out in the field.
Yeah.
Right.
So here we are. We're coming back. The two other guys who were bird hunting, we brought the deer in, and they looked and said, oh, wow, congratulations. And they were making us fish dinner. So we still had some time. So I took it to the garage to hang it, at least get it hung for the night. I was going to have to take it to a processor because it wasn't going to be
cold enough. Right.
And I wasn't going to take the chance.
Right.
Got it hung up. I'm telling you, the best invention ever is that butt out thing. That thing works wonders.
So you used the butt out and butted it out.
Just like that. And she's like, what do I expect? I said, what?
Doink.
Yeah, done.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, that's what you're doing. Okay.
I see what that does now.
But other than that, man, we got it hung up, and it was a big deer. It weighed, according to the butcher, I asked him how much weight. He said it was probably about 165.
Okay.
And I said, that's a big deer. And we went to the DNR, get our patch, and talked with the biologist, and she aged it at approximately 2.5 with the possibility of a 3.5. Okay. Now, up in the UP 3 years ago, they recorded what they said was 100% fawn loss.
Yeah, I remember we've talked about that on the show.
So she's saying if this one is 3.5, he was one of the lucky ones. His body structure might be showing 2.5 because of that hard winter.
Because of the malnutrition.
Right.
Right.
So we took the deer to the taxidermy today, and I'm having him save the jaw for me.
Okay, so you're going to go have it aged.
When I take it back up in November, I'll go stop with her, and she'll be able to tell me again officially. Because, when they check the jaw, they got to slit it. But we're going to have it mounted. It's our first bow kill. And,
right on.
First buck. So not bad at all. Not bad at all. And that was only our first day.
That's a good way. That's a good way to start deer camp off, deer season off.
Oh,
that's a great way to start it off.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we're up against our last break here, so we're going to step outside, take our last break, come back. We'll kind of wrap things up and wrap up the show. We'll be right back after this, folks.
I shoot PSE because I like one pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet. I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. We have a deer on the ground, in the butcher shop, in the freezer, at the taxidermist.
Absolutely.
How's that feel?
See, and when you're live on Facebook, we're talking about deer hunting, and somebody comments about your hair.
Right?
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
Aunt Lori. Deer hanging, headed to the taxidermy, headed to the processor.
Feels amazing.
It does, doesn't it? I mean,
amazing.
It just, I don't know. I eat tag sandwiches quite a bit. They're
yummy.
It's just part of the game, But once when you connect and you walk up and you see it there, it's just there's a feeling that the antis will never get it. They just don't get what that is.
What they don't
accomplishment.
Get, and they might get it in their own little way, but that moment when we stood over this deer and took in the accomplishment of what
what it took to get there.
What it took to shoot it, practice, shoot it, trail it, pick it, the whole, and then that camaraderie of all helping
everybody
out,
sharing,
holding a leg, holding a flashlight, getting it out of the woods, getting it hung up.
Yeah.
All that just plays so much into it. And then that's what makes deer camp. That's what makes any camp. Bear camp, deer camp, fish camp.
I thought you say beer camp.
If you want to have a beer camp, go right ahead.
Beer camp. But yeah, it does. It all goes together, all the hard work,
And it's not even just like the hard work that you put in like the weeks before. It's like, because I've been hunting for 10 years, will never ever be perfect at it. Nope. And it's even before I could hunt, I always went out with you, and you the advice that you always gave me and things like that. And that literally, your voice was in my head when I was trying to calm down from shaking and just,
See, but I couldn't give you what you did to me when I shot my doe when you were with me. Dad, why were you shaking so?
Right. You weren't there to give her the business.
Right.
Yeah.
When I shot a doe when she was with me, that's exactly what it was. She goes, Dad, why were you shaking so much?
And I get it.
Well,
first
of all, you're sitting with me, and there's enough pressure to pull this off. And but no, she did a fantastic job. We stuck it out. We went back to square one after that and kind of said, okay, let's try
regroup.
Regroup. And truthfully, the way she thought it ran off, she was probably about 20 yards closer to what she thought he did. He actually ran more away from the spot she picked out.
Well, in that moment, I mean, you got first time shooting at a buck, using archery equipment up close and personal, adrenaline dump, all that, number one, to even think about, okay, he ran over that log, even though it was off just a little bit. I mean, most people, they go, I don't know, he just ran off. They don't think about those things, but to be able to take it all in and really comprehend the situation and remember where they run off.
Exactly, and those are the little things that I tried to teach her. Is that after you shot, watch him, see where he goes, and mark things in your mind, because we're going to need that, especially when there's no snow. We did pick up like his hoof prints. There's a track. Okay, well, there's no blood around the track, and so all those things came together for that one moment in time, and it was just a wonderful evening.
Camaraderie.
Yeah. And that was day one.
Yep.
That was day one.
And that was not the only thing I witnessed that week.
And?
Oh.
So the next day, she's going to hunt evenings, and she's going to sit with me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So now you're going to go bug Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
My photographer.
Okay.
So we go out. We go sit in her blind that she's at. And I said, I just want to go over there and see what's happening.
Right.
And it was warm. We weren't seeing much. And all of a sudden, it was getting towards evening, or dark, and all of a sudden, you could hear, I'm like, all right, they're going to be late arrivals, that's fine, it's coming up behind me. And I pick her out of my right side, it's a doe, walking up the ridge, I'm like, okay. Well, I can hear a car off in the distance, driving away, and all of a sudden, I can hear it make the turn, coming up the road, and it's going, I can see it, hear it, see it, and I think were you watching it?
Oh, I was watching.
And it goes past us, I'm okay, and all of a sudden it gets to the bend in the road and comes to a complete stop.
The car or the deer?
The car.
The car,
The deer is kind of coming in but watching.
And all of a sudden...
I'm like, whoa!
I was watching the entire time, and...
I stood up and I'm like, what the bleep? And I'm watching.
I've not heard this story, by the way, folks.
And he got back in the vehicle and took off.
I saw him get out, and that's when he shot, and he got back in and drove away. He shot from the road.
Rifle?
It sounded like a shotgun. It could have been a rifle.
So, okay, number one, you're there. Could have shot you.
That was my first priority. Dude,
you can't shoot those there. And shooting from a road, shooting from a vehicle. Well, I wasn't in a vehicle if he got out, but had a loaded firearm in a vehicle, poaching. How many things can we write up here? But the thing was, the deer between you and him?
Oh yeah, the deer was only 20 yards to my right, but he shot into the woods, so he wasn't shooting at the deer that was closest to me.
Oh, okay.
He was shooting at something.
Something else.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think it was the deer.
Okay.
Not sure. So I was, and by then, right, this deer takes off. I'm up on the blind. I'm like, who is that? And I recognize the vehicle. I know who it is.
Okay.
Deer takes off, and there's another deer. Oh, great. And I'm looking, I'm waiting, because, I'm waiting. It's a doe. I'm like, okay. I waited like 5 more minutes. I said, all right, we're going down there. I got to see something, find something out. And I walked down there. She kind of picked out a tree that she remembers the car was by.
Right.
It was actually a truck. And I said, all right, we get down there. And I said, okay, which way did he shoot? She goes, he shot this way, which would have been west.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. So I'm scanning. It was kind of thick, so I'm scanning the ground because I'm looking for the white belly.
Right.
Like I told her, you look for white. It'll be the deer's belly if you shot at a deer. Then I'd have some real issues. Couldn't find nothing. Well, in the meantime, I hadn't come down yet, but he went, and I was dealing with my deer up, waiting. He had come back.
Okay.
And just slowly went and left.
Okay.
So that's when I said, all right, we got to go down there. We watched the vehicle go by. Actually, we were out of the blind at that time.
We were getting ready, I think, to
get out of the blind.
Get out to see.
And I knew exactly whose truck it was. I'm like, all right. And so we got down there, looked, couldn't. I jumped a couple partridge. So my thought was he might have been ground swatting a partridge. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't see when he shot. I didn't see no tails take off from that area. I did a 360 around that whole area, looking for a deer. I didn't find anything.
Been driving with a loaded firearm in a vehicle and then jumping out and shooting.
All in a day in the UP.
Wow.
And so I was you had asked me, what would you do?
I'm like, what do? You find this dead deer. You know who shot it, but it's not like...
Called 100 DNR rap line.
I said the first thing I'd do is I'd call DNR. Because my first issue was he's shooting into the woods and we're there.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know who's over there or which way he was shooting. You know?
Was it your property he shot on?
He was at the border.
The boundary, okay.
I couldn't tell you if he shot to the right, no. If he shot to the left, yes. He was that close to my property line.
Okay. And
then I told her, I said, if I find that deer and it's on my property, well, it's going to be mine. And I'm going to call the DNR and say, and I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah.
And you can go down and ask him what he did.
Right.
So, yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
I've never experienced, well, when I was a kid, we experienced getting shot at. And I think I've told that story before when we were squirrel hunting with my dad. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. That's the closest thing I've ever come to being involved in anything remotely like that. That's crazy.
Isn't it wild? I mean, you could not have... I've watched the Northwoods Law. We were almost like the DNR. We were almost like watching it. Here comes the car, slows down.
Oh, he's going to get out.
Stop. Exactly.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, my eyes were probably as big as when you saw when I shot the deer. Like, really,
I was just in disbelief.
Incredible.
I was like,
that's crazy.
It was. And I don't know if he shot it. If he shot at a grouse, got it, put it in his car, and just went on going.
Right.
Or my thought was he shot a deer.
He's going to come back and get it at night.
Because, like I told her, I says, if you're good at it, you know how to drop them in their tracks.
Yep.
You'll shoot them. See, okay, he's right there. And just go.
Come back at night.
Come back and you'll know where he's at.
Yeah, get it.
But
later.
I couldn't find nothing. So I was like...
Wow.
Yeah. So that was one of another experiences.
That's crazy.
There's another one.
Similar?
No, this is totally on the good side.
Oh, okay.
I want to give a shout out to Killer Food Plots. There's Suffuse.
Okay.
Because I had the samples with me.
Yeah,
I took them up there.
I saw the photos.
Yep, and this one right here, we picked one in the evening to try.
Okay, this one is the React Attractant Red Apple.
Yep.
Okay.
So I had her. She was spraying as we were walking up the trail to the blind, and she was getting in. I said, "Hey, give me that." And I walked over to some grass areas, and I just loaded it with it.
Okay.
And we got back in the blind and waited, and all of a sudden this deer came right up that trail, went right by the bait, and went right to this bushy area and stuck his nose right in it.
No kidding.
Kid you not. And she's my eyewitness to it. And I looked at her, I said, that's where we sprayed.
I was watching, I'm like, they're not near the bait at all.
He went right to it.
That's crazy.
That was pretty impressive.
So I got it. It works. I used the red apple, I used the corn, and I used the bedding one.
The bedding one, yeah.
Oh, that was another thing she witnessed with me. Deer sticking his nose in the blind.
Nice. Hey guys, what are you doing in there?
Literally a spike. We were The one evening, we had 7 spikes all in at once. And it was like the UFC of watching spikes. I had 2 over here sparring, going at it. 3 over on my left, just staring at the other guys. And 1 in the middle, who's the biggest, eating, saying, this is mine.
Stay back.
Right? And all of a sudden, getting towards dark, he just starts walking towards us. And I'm like, and she's on her phone. This is funny. She's on her phone. All of a sudden, she looks up and then realizes the deer's coming right straight at us. And I'm watching this, and he comes right at us, turns to our left, and you can hear him breathing. You can hear him sniffing, and you can hear him sniffing the blind. And I think you sprayed the corn one then.
Yes.
That was the corn one?
That was the corn one, yeah.
And all of a sudden, you can see the spikes, you can see his ears, and all of a sudden, here comes a nose. And you can hear him just sniffing. And it was kind of neat, because if we smelled...
Didn't spook him.
It didn't spook him at all. And then he just kind of, okay. He turned around, walked back, and...
I had to have him one time during turkey season. I had a small 6-point walk in, stick his nose in the blind. Actually, I think it was a little forkhorn one time. When I was hunting with Maddie, do the same thing, walk up, and he just stuck his nose to the edge of the blind.
And we had a doe do the same thing.
Yeah.
We had 2 deer do the same thing to us in this blind. It was the Cabela's blind I just picked up, and we were using, I think it was one night was the corn, and the other night was the bedding one. The calming bedding one. They came right up to the blind, and I was like, okay, they're going to pick up our human scent right about.
No.
Never did. Never spooked them.
That's crazy.
And to finish up the story, we saw some bucks, saw lots of spikes, some 4-pointers, a 5-pointer. Nothing my cousin and I was going to shoot. So last night, we're going to pack up the blind. We're going to call it a week. And it was getting dark. I was like, all right, I've had enough. We got to break this blind down. And there was deer in. We sat down. We were running late because we had to go pick up our deer. We sat down at 5 o'clock. At 10 after 5, they were coming in like a train.
We had 10 or 12 of them in at one time.
We had at one time. It was like, really? Nothing to shoot. So I said, okay, I'm done. Let's pack this thing up. So we unzipped the blind, right? Mind you, there's deer 25 yards away. Unzip, get out the blind, look. They're looking at us. I'm like, okay. Well, I take off my backpack. She takes out, we get the chairs out. We get everything out. We got a bin there. We got everything. And these deer are watching us. I'm like, really?
We're not trying to be quiet. We're not trying to go slow. We want out.
I brushed in the blind. I'm ripping that off. A couple of them kind of backed off. One's not moving. They watched us push the blind all together and stick it in a bag. Deer's still there. I'm like, really?
No, see you next time.
Well, I had to go get my camera. And she's watching this. And I'm like, oh, he's going to move now because I'm going to go get my camera. And sure, I walked down there and he went, 10 yards away?
Yeah.
He backed off 10 yards, watched me take the camera off the tree, unscrew the thing. And as soon as I started walking back, it followed me. It followed right back in. In the meantime, I had one come running in off the field, tail up, just 10 yards by us, went right to the food.
Did not care we were there at all.
Did not care. They watched us leave, waved to us, and said, we're out of here.
Young deer?
Oh, yeah, they were all...
all young deer.
Yeah, they were young spikes.
Yeah.
And then the one came running, and if it was it was getting pretty dark at that point. But, it's so funny. Other times, you break a twig...
And they scatter.
And they're on the next county, right? Yeah.
That's crazy. You just never know. You never know what you're going to see, what to expect. Just when you think you got it figured out, they flip it over on you. It's
even in camp, they're coming in. They get into that mode. It's food.
Gonna eat.
They're gonna eat. And there's a lot of food out there right now, which is good. There's a lot of browse for them, so they're picking up on that. They're meandering feeding.
See, I'm anxious to get to our camp because I've heard all of our new planting that we've did, and we replanted my field with not climatized. Climatized is what we put down the first time from Killer Food Plots. The Carnage brassicas.
Oh, okay.
Everything's coming up, but they're saying everything's being overbrowsed again. We got so many deer up there that they're hitting all of our fields hard and heavy. So I'm hoping that we got some food on the ground when I get up there, to where I can actually hunt. The stands I've already got set, I don't want to have to go starting to change things up once I get there. So,
and I got it, okay, so I planted and I got clover coming up. It's coming up. It's probably about 2 inches tall. And I also have clover around the cabin that's already there. But I don't know if that's one of their number one go-to foods.
They pretty well tear it up at our place if they've got access to it, But you're in a whole different zone.
Exactly, and I'm like,
and that might be something that becomes more palatable later in the season, or maybe it's in the spring. I don't know.
Right, exactly. So so next year when we do our planning, we might kind of make one this and one that, and
kind of
start to figure out maybe
what they like.
Right. This year, usually when we bait, because we're allowed to bait, we use corn, apples, and sugar beets.
Mm-hmm.
This year, didn't like apples. Usually they eat the apples.
Right.
But it was usually corn. Mm-hmm. But no, the clover, I was expecting them to mow it.
Right.
But no.
That's crazy.
But they were playing in the water, though.
Oh, yeah.
Heard them splashing.
Nice in-ground pool in one of the fields. So.
Yeah. A lot of rain up there?
They had 2 inches of rain the day before we got there.
Okay.
The creek that we drive in over was pretty high.
And that's what we're dealing with at our camp as far as is the last 2 weekends. That's the reason I haven't been up. I'll kind of talk about that a little more next week. After I'm hoping to be up next weekend for my first set, and we'll just kind of see how things roll. And that'll probably be determined at the midpoint of this week once I get a weather forecast. And actually, there's some other things that you and I are working on that may take precedence.
I tell you, this weather has been crazy.
It has, it's not a normal October. And I'm, like I said on a post I put out on Facebook earlier in the week, I'm not going to go out and bust my area for like a morning hunt. And basically last 2 weekends, I could have got a hunt in, like a morning or a evening, and I'm not going to bust up an area with my first sit just for a quick in and out and have that chance of blowing that area open.
Right.
If I'm going, I want to be able to go and I like to stay, sometimes I'll stay all day in a stand.
Well, we're starting to get to that point. It's going to start to get, like I said, the little bucks were starting to get frisky. They're starting to follow does, and the other bucks are noticing.
Yeah.
Because I had one spike take after off a doe, and the other spike said, no, you don't, and they went. And her 6 point was trailing does.
Yeah.
So it's...
Well, we're getting into that season. You remember last year, I didn't see a shooter buck on trail cam until 23rd of October.
Yep.
And that's when Night Train made his little appearance. And all of a sudden, he became kind of regular on trail camera. I was seeing him, here and there in couple different spots. And then I actually laid eyes on him, right before Halloween. I think it was the 26th or 27th of October. He finally made an appearance in a field in the evening, right before it got dark.
Yep, and you could see him.
Yeah, so, and that's kind of where I'm setting my hunts up right now. I want to be up there that week of Halloween. That's what my target is.
There you go. It's always a good week.
Yeah, well, I've always been, the last 2 years have been early. I got up there a week too early and ran into a lot of rain both times. And it could happen again, but this time, I backed it up a week, get into that pre-rut time, and see if we can't do something.
Yeah, that's one of the things. The reason why I went so early this year was we have a wedding to go to a little bit later. She's got some things, and then we wanted to be up there with the grouse hunters as well. So kind of make more of a camp and
camaraderie with other people. Right on.
So it was good.
Yeah,
it was a good week.
That's good.
Even though they got their fifth wheel stuck, but we got it out because of all the rain.
Right.
He went to make a turn, and it actually slid sideways. And then he couldn't get it. It would just spin. So we just let it sit for 3 days.
Let it dry out a little bit.
Let it dry out. And just pulled right out.
Right.
So, no.
Well, that's good. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
On a nice deer. Food in the freezer, and something to put on the wall.
Absolutely.
And memories forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And good job.
Thank you. Thank you for helping.
Are you gonna be able to get the next one you get?
I hope so.
Okay.
I want to at least try.
Folks, you heard it here. She said she's going to try.
Have that in recording.
That's right. So she says she's going to try. So that's good. All right, we're going to wrap up this week's show here, and next week we should be back in the cabin.
Yeah, we'll be back in the cabin, and
if I'm up north, you may have to come over and do one. You may have to call me. We've done that before. So we'll see what happens. We don't know, but one way or another, we'll have a show on.
We will have a show.
Be rocking.
Even if I am sitting on Facebook Live, I could even bring Kelly to be my co-host.
There you go. Yeah, you guys sit here and chat it up.
And we'll call you. And
yeah, you just have to throw your phone over there.
Yeah.
Do the live stream.
I think we can do that.
All right.
All right.
Okay, folks, that'll do it for us this week. You guys get out, hit it hard, get in the woods, spend some time with family, friends, neighbors, and fill those freezers. It's a great time of the year to get out there, and hopefully we get some colder weather. Hopefully it'll start working our way.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us this week. As we always say at the Up North Journal, if you're out on the water in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next time on the Up North Journal. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Vapor Hunting Scents,
Killer Food Plot Seeds, Attractants, and Supplements,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Antler Action,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.